After going through a 2.5 hour meditation session, I am ready to officially pick my bracket, guys. We just had it revealed. It was crazy. Some surprises, definitely. Rutgers being left out of the field. What's going on there? How does Rutgers get left out? I don't know, but guys, let's go through it. My official predictions. You know, I'm a multi-millionaire off of doing this. The perfect brackets, it's crazy. And guys, I have actually seen a vision on what's going to happen when it comes to this tournament, and there's a lot of people making a big mistake. I saw it on TV with people making picks on their Final Fours. Let's get right into it. It's Alabama taking on Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, or Southeast Missouri State. I think Texas A&M, Corpus Christi wins that game in the first four. But then, of course, Alabama is going to move on to the second round there. And then we've got our 8v9 matchup, Maryland and West Virginia. I'm not high on Maryland, guys. I'll be honest. I am taking West Virginia. Even with the bad record, the Big 12 Conference, we're going to give them the edge there. We're going to take them the analytics like West Virginia. I am known as an analytical god. That's one of my nicknames. Next, we've got San Diego State versus Charleston. Let's use a 4D IQ play, guys, right now. San Diego State will beat Charleston. Everyone's going to be picking Charleston. Guys, look at Charleston's overall games. Very close games. They had a bad stretch middle of the season. I know they only have 3 losses, but they've had some close games. San Diego State being disrespected by me and a lot of people because I said I don't like San Diego State, but we're going to do the 4D chess. When everyone picks the 12, you know the 5's going to win. It's the same thing that happened last year or the year before with New Mexico State. I picked New Mexico State, everyone did as well, and the 5 seed ends up winning. Pick the 5 seed, pick San Diego State, and then Virginia and Furman. You got to go Furman. I mean, Virginia is just a horrible 4 seed. If Virginia was a 7 seed, I would say they're overseeded. I'm not that high on Furman as a 13, but you've got to go with Furman over a Virginia team that really just has no offense, and they racked up wins in a very bad ACC. Creighton versus NC State. Give me Creighton. Very inconsistent team. I'm kind of surprised NC State is not in the first 4. That's a team that just got blown out by Clemson, who was left out of the tournament altogether. So give me Creighton, who's got great advanced analytics, to win that game in a 6v11 matchup. Baylor taking on UC Santa Barbara. I'll take Baylor University. Thank you very much. Let's respect Baylor basketball. Let's respect Baylor, guys. They've got 4+ offensive players. I know they have kind of had a bad second half. They struggled in the Big 12 tournament. They're going to move on. They're going to face Creighton. That's a really good 6v3 matchup. Missouri and Utah State. I love Utah State. I love the way they played end of the year. They definitely deserve to get in as a 10 seed. There were some people saying maybe they're on the bubble, but they get in. And I'll be honest, I've just been disrespecting Missouri, and I'm sorry, but I forgot Missouri was in this tournament. I don't know. And then we've got Arizona taking on Princeton. I'm going to go with Arizona there. If it was Yale, I would consider it. I think Yale is better than Princeton, but Princeton did beat Yale, so I will go with Zona to beat Princeton. Princeton, the auto bid out of the Ivy League. Looking at the East, we've got Purdue taking on Texas Southern or Fairleigh Dickinson. And you know what? I'm going to go with Fairleigh Dickinson beating Texas Southern in the first 4. And then, of course, we're going with Purdue to advance to the round of 32. This is a horrible 8v9 matchup. I have no clue how. FAU is a 9 seed. I think they're way too obsessed with quad 1 wins. It's a travesty. FAU 31-3. They just dispatched a good UAB team to win their conference. I have to go Memphis, though. Memphis coming off that win over Houston. I know Marcus Sasser didn't play, but this Memphis team is hard charging. I will take Memphis in that 8v9 matchup. Duke and Oral Roberts. Could there not have been a better story than Duke facing Oral Roberts? Again, this is kind of a 4D chess move, guys. let's not be the casual people who get these upsets wrong. Let's be honest about this. Duke will win this game. They're on a run right now. Their true freshmen have grown up. They're all healthy. They won the ACC. I know the ACC is bad. Oral Roberts is 30-4, but they had some games towards the end of the season. A South Dakota State game they almost lost. Little bit hairy towards the end. I think they had a 5-point win in their conference semifinal. So give me Duke. Let's stabilize here. We're not picking all these upsets. We're realistic. This is why I'm a bracket god. I'm known as the bracket wizard. And then Tennessee and Louisiana. Let's calm down here. I understand people don't like Tennessee, but this Tennessee team is top 5 in analytics. I agree. I think Tennessee's going to lose in the second round, but let's be calm about it. Let's be calm. Let's pick Tennessee here. There we go. We got Tennessee versus Duke. No upsets there. We're calm. Kentucky versus Providence. I love the matchups for Kentucky. I think Kentucky's due for a deep run after getting knocked out by a 15 seed last year. I will go with Kentucky there. Kansas State, Montana State. I'm going to say this is one of those higher scoring games, and I do like Kansas State there, so that's chalk. I think Montana State is an extremely weak 14 seed. If you are interested in picking a 14 over a 3, because it kind of happens most tournaments, you'll get a 14 over a 3. I would strongly recommend against Montana State. Even though I don't like Kansas State, I think Montana State's a really weak 14. Then you have Michigan State versus USC. I love Michigan State. Tom Izzo, they've got the guard play. They've got a veteran forward. They've got a veteran team. I know Michigan State lost to Ohio State, but this kind of region right here, I'm being chalky. I'm being realistic. And then, of course, Marquette versus Vermont. About 2 weeks ago, I had a vision of Marquette in the national title game. They're amazing. They end up winning the Big East. Very, very good conference this year. So yes, Vermont, very fun team. They win their conference again, but we are going to go with Marquette to win round 1. Moving to the Midwest, you've got Houston and Northern Kentucky. So Houston, extremely polarizing team. They are a top 10 team offensively and defensively. They are dealing with an injury to possibly their best player, Marcus Sasser, the guard. But guys, think about this for a second. Everyone's going to be picking against Houston because of the injury. They already said he's going to be 100% by Thursday. They just held him out. It was a precautionary thing, guys. Trust Houston basketball. Analytically, I've never seen anything like it. This team is the number 1 team in college basketball, and they will face Auburn University, the 9 seed, beating Iowa. If you've watched college basketball in the last month, this is not a hard pick. Iowa has been really inconsistent. They're terrible on defense. Auburn's a good team that lost to a really good Arkansas team in the SEC tournament by 3 points. So Auburn, certainly I expect them to advance in an 8v9 game. Miami and Drake, I don't think this is hard. I know Miami can score. I understand it. But this is my 12v5 upset. I'm going with Drake University. They've been great in the second half of the year. And Miami, really, they've run up wins in a horrible ACC. You take a look at their defensive advanced analytics. They're outside the top 100 in overall defensive efficiency. That's a major hold that I can't get over. And then you do have Indiana and Kent State. So guys, I am going to take the leap of faith here and pick Kent State. Kent State, defensively, we know they're possibly one of, if not the best defensive teams in college basketball. Offensively, amazing performance in the MAC conference tournament. The great performance against Toledo. They dropped a 90-burger. They will advance, and we will get one of those 12v13 matchups in the second round. Next, you have Iowa State taking on Mississippi State or Pitt. So I personally hate the first 4. I hate predicting it. I think Iowa State is a fraud. I don't think they're going to go far. But Mississippi State, to me, is a really weak team. Pittsburgh is a really weak team. I will take Iowa State. I don't love it, but I'll take Iowa State to advance to the second round there. And then you've got Xavier versus Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State is a very weak 14 seed. I will take Xavier to win that game. Texas A&M versus Penn State. This is a tough one. Very, very good teams. A lot of people surprised that Texas A&M was actually a 7 seed after what they did in their conference. Penn State going to the Big Ten championship game. Guys, I'm kind of stalling right now because it's tough for me to make this pick, but I'm just going to go with the guard play of Penn State. Have the 10 over the 7. Penn State beats Texas A&M, and then Texas versus Colgate. I was very tempted to pick Colgate. I've kind of got a weird relationship with Colgate. We're off and on. But really, I've been picking Colgate as like a lower seed to win all these games every tournament, and they never do it. They've got a good three-point shooting team. I do not buy Texas. I think they've got a weird vibe. I know they just had a great performance against Kansas. The vibe is off with Texas University, guys. Trust me on that. I will have them advancing, though. I want to be realistic. Let's be realistic. Let's win the bracket. And then moving to the West, we've got Kansas versus Howard. So we're going to go with Kansas there, obviously. Arkansas and Illinois. I think this is fairly easily going to be Arkansas. Arkansas is a team with very high upside. They're young guards, very talented. Nick Smith, Anthony Black. They will beat an Illinois team that's kind of reeling a little bit there. St. Mary's versus VCU. I love this matchup for St. Mary's. Virginia Commonwealth is the most weak 12 seed by far. They played in a down conference. I think Dayton is better than VCU. I understand VCU beat Dayton, but St. Mary's, very complete team, defensive-minded, really good defensive analytics, 4+ offensive players. St. Mary's University, amazing there. And then UConn and Iona. The Rick Pitino thing is funny, but yeah, UConn, easily. UConn's an unbelievable team. They have crazy metrics. They are significantly better than a 4 seed. And then you've got TCU versus Arizona State or Nevada. So, Arizona State and Nevada. Who would I give the edge in that game? Maybe Arizona State. I am not a fan of TCU, but because I don't like those first 4 games, I'm not going to pick one of those teams. So I will pick TCU to advance there, and then Gonzaga. This should be a very fun, higher scoring game. Gonzaga, the best offense in college basketball. They will defeat Grand Canyon there. And then we've got Northwestern versus Boise State. I think Northwestern is a complete fraud, so I'll go with another 10v7 upset. I think I've got I think I have 2 10v7 upsets. I'll go with Boise State. They're a good team from the Mountain West. They had a really good year, a nice close to the year. And then UCLA, UNC Asheville. I will go with UCLA very easily. I think UCLA is a really good team heading into the tournament. So now we are on to the round of 32. Winners go to the Sweet 16. It is Alabama taking on West Virginia. And I am going to go with the University of Alabama to advance to the Sweet 16 as the number 1 overall seed. West Virginia, they're going to keep it scrappy. They're going to keep that game close in the first half. Bama will pull away, and they'll win like 76-62. West Virginia cannot keep up offensively with a team like Alabama. San Diego State and Furman. I'm going to go San Diego State here to advance. I came into this tournament not liking San Diego State. I used the reverse psychology, and then against a Furman team, I think they can beat Furman. Really, I picked Furman just because I don't like Virginia this year, and it's nothing against Virginia. Virginia in general, I respect their program, but this year it's a little fraudulent. Let's be honest, it's a little fraudulent, but I do like San Diego State in this draw to actually advance to the Sweet 16, even though I've kind of said, they got a good draw, I think. Next, we have Creighton and Baylor. So Creighton is a very inconsistent team, but I will take them. This is a really good game. It's a 6v3 matchup. I will have Creighton advancing to the Sweet 16. Baylor bows out at the round of 32. The problem with Baylor is just the inconsistency. The way they went out in the Big 12 tournament kind of soured me on them. And then you've got Utah State, the 10 seed, taking on Arizona. I will have Arizona winning that game and advancing to the Sweet 16, taking on Creighton. Moving to the East, you've got Purdue taking on Memphis. And in this game, I am going to go with, this is a very tough, so I'm just going to say what I'm thinking, my strategy. I want one 8 seed to beat a 1 seed, but it's between these 2 games because I think both Purdue and Kansas are going to get knocked out. They're not making the Final Four. Do I pick Arkansas over Kansas or Memphis over Purdue? I think both of them can upset.
We're going to go with Memphis over Purdue. I think that's what I'm going to do. I trust Kansas a little bit more, even Bill Self with the issue. Guys, the reason I'm not picking Purdue to the Sweet 16, they're reliant on a center. Zach Edey, if he gets into foul trouble, it's a major problem for Purdue. We saw Memphis, their ability to beat upper echelon teams like Houston. This Memphis team is dangerous, so I will put them into the Sweet 16, and I will have them face Duke University in the Sweet 16. Duke beating Tennessee. They've had a great run. They are a 5 seed, and they are on to the Sweet 16. Next, we've got Kentucky and Kansas State. Give me the 6 seed Kentucky. Oscar Tshiebwe. You know, the guard play, the three-point shooter, Reeves, John Calipari, they're hungry, they're hunting, and they will beat Kansas State. Higher scoring, really fun game there. I do have respect for Kansas State, and I could see Kansas State winning it. And then Michigan State and Marquette. So this is a tough draw for Marquette. You get Izzo in the second round. But Michigan State, really kind of a few red flags there. The loss to Ohio State. Marquette is absolutely rock solid. So much confidence in Marquette. Analytically, I've studied this team. I locked myself in my bathroom for over 48 straight hours studying this program and actually dissecting game film going back to preschool on some of these players. So I know, Marquette, guys, I'm telling you, this is an auto lock. Marquette there. Moving to the Midwest, we've got Houston taking on Auburn. Maybe a little bit of a tough battle, but give me Houston University. I know a lot of people are going to pick Houston to lose early. I'm going to talk about that at the end, but I will take Houston here. Let's not overreact to the injury. Marcus Sasser, he's going to be 100%. It's a cautionary thing. They kept him out. Drake taking on Kent State. I'm having Kent State go to the Sweet 16. They're going to beat Drake University. Right now, they've got great guard play. They've got an unbelievable defense. That's a fun 12v13 matchup. Give me Kent State. Next, we have Iowa State taking on Xavier. By process of elimination, I'll take Xavier. Xavier is a team I'm really not high on. Just the way this bracket worked out, they're on to the Sweet 16 in my eyes. They get a great draw, either Iowa State or Pittsburgh, Mississippi State, one of those teams. And then we do have Penn State taking on Texas. I'm going to go Texas there. I'm not going to go crazy with Penn State. I will keep it simple, and I will have a 2v3 matchup there. Taking a look at the West region, we've got Kansas and Arkansas. I'm going to have Kansas holding strong there, beating Arkansas, although Arkansas, it's Arkansas or Memphis, It's Russian roulette. Which one am I going to pick? Because one of them's going to win. I just know it. Both the teams just have such good upside, and you're looking at a team like Kansas with zero momentum. At least Purdue has momentum. They won the Big Ten. Kansas gets blown out by 20 points. They score only 56 points, but I will respect Kansas. Bill Self, we'll see if he's back. They won the title last year. I can respect that. This is a brutal second-round matchup, man. St. Mary's, UConn, come on. I got to go UConn, man. I think the committee did a really bad job there. That should not be a second-round matchup. I really wanted St. Mary's to go far. You run into a team like UConn. UConn is, think about this. UConn and Virginia are both 4 seeds. I think UConn is better than a lot of these 3 seeds. Kansas State is a 3 seed. UConn's a 4 seed. That's crazy. TCU, Gonzaga, certainly Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga has a major issue defensively, but against a team like TCU, I feel confident they're on to the Sweet 16. And then Boise State, UCLA, very confident in UCLA. They are on to the Sweet 16. They have a complete team, even without their best defender, Jalen Clark, who's out for the year. They've got 3+ offensive players. They're a well-oiled machine. With Mick Cronin, it's basically a free auto lock to the Sweet 16 for a team like UCLA. Moving on to the third round, and this is for a trip into the Elite Eight. It is Alabama and San Diego State, and I am going with the University of Alabama to beat San Diego State and advance to the Elite Eight. I think Alabama far too good offensively. San Diego State, I'm surprised they even made it that far. Then you have Creighton versus Arizona. So guys, this is kind of the thing with Creighton University. It's just so inconsistent, and I had them winning 2 straight games. I think they lose to Arizona, so a little chalky there. You've got a 2v1 matchup, Alabama versus Arizona for a spot in the Final Four. Moving on down to the East, you have Memphis taking on Duke, and I'm going to go with Memphis. Maybe a little bit of a Cinderella run coming off that American championship. They're going to have momentum. That's going to be a fun game, Memphis and Duke. It feels like a Sweet 16 game. You know, it feels like one of those type of games, so I'm going to have them winning. And then you've got Kentucky and Marquette, and of course, give me Marquette. To me, the biggest lock of the year is Marquette. You know, possibly to at least the Final Four, maybe to the national championship game they're on, and they will take on Memphis there. Moving up, you've got Houston and Kent State. So Kent State, could you imagine them going to the Elite Eight? It's not going to happen. I'm going with Houston, the best team in college basketball, to the Elite Eight. And then you do have Xavier and Texas. And I am going to go with Xavier, surprisingly upsetting Texas. There's something off about Texas's vibe. I can't explain it. It's so tragic. It's so sad to see a university like Texas have that happen to them, but I will have Xavier. Even though I really don't like Xavier that much, I think their offense, it's good enough to advance to an Elite Eight. Then you have Kansas and UConn. Give me UConn. I think Kansas's run ends there. UConn is just unbelievable in terms of their analytics. They're top 20 offensively and defensively. Kansas, that 20-point loss, I can't get out of my head. UConn had a very respectable performance against Marquette in the Big East semifinals. They are on, and they will face UCLA. So I still trust UCLA here, guys, again, even with the injury. Let's be honest. Let's be fair about it. UCLA on to the finals there. And then we are on to the, what is this, the Elite Eight? This is like a weird maze. It's the Elite Eight. It is Alabama and Arizona. And guys, I am going to go with maybe a little bit of karma. So the idea with Alabama, I just can't do it. I can't put them in the Final Four, not with the Brandon Miller situation. You know, you can say what you want about it. He's cleared. I understand that. But I do think karma will catch up to Alabama at some point. They got a ridiculously easy draw, in my opinion. Virginia is by far the worst 4 seed. I think Baylor is a weak 3 seed. I would have had Alabama losing in the second round if they were facing FAU. But actually, you know what? I might have to take that back. But it doesn't matter. So I will have Arizona going to the Final Four there because I do think karma's eventually going to get them. And then Houston versus Xavier, very comfortably there, picking the 1 seed Houston. So I have 1 seed and 2 seed to the Final Four. And then moving on down to the East region, we have Memphis taking on Marquette. And of course, I'm going to go with Marquette going to the Final Four. They will be advancing after just some crazy visions that I had. And I've seen it. I am the bracket expert. I'm the bracket wizard. That's what they call me. And then you do have UConn and UC. This is a tough one, man. This is a rough one. Okay, so I'm going to actually have to start looking at this strategically. So I have 2 seeds. I have a 1 seed. And I think I'm going to have a 4 seed. Yes, it's hard, but UCLA with the injury, the Jalen Clark injury, it saves it for UConn. UConn advances to the Final Four. And how about this? A Final Four matchup, Arizona, Marquette, Houston, and UConn. And oh my, guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting a little emotional here. Oh, there's tissues down here. It's just, this Marquette team is just, I've scouted this team for so long. It's so inspiring and it's so inspirational when you see it, and now it's gone so mainstream and people are stealing my picks. But ladies and gentlemen, Marquette will be going to the national championship. They will beat Arizona and they will face Houston University. Guys, think about it. All the casual people, they see the injury. They see Houston lose to Memphis. Oh, Houston is the 1 seed that's not going to make it very far. Guys, this is when we steal all the points from these people because Houston University, the number 1 overall team analytically, they're going to be healthy by Thursday. Have faith in them. And the national championship is in Houston. It couldn't set up any better. They will beat Marquette because Marquette cannot win the national title. It's based off of analytics and numbers. I talked about it. It's mainly due because Marquette is not good enough defensively. They're outside of the top 40 in terms of that. And then the overall score, guys, we're getting a vision and we're seeing the scoreboard right now. And it's like 80 to 73. I'm feeling an 80 to 73 higher scoring game. That's what they like. A lot of fouls. Yes, 80 to 73 final score there with Houston over Marquette. So 2 seeds, a 1 and a 4 in the national championship for me. And that is my official bracket there. We're going to go ahead and submit that, and we get a little congratulations there. So guys, that is my overall bracket. I'm sure I'll be, reacting to different things, talking about each region, breaking all of them down in another video, but I want to keep this short here and kind of end it off right now. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.